Greetings everyone, I'm Carlo Makibot from Group 7. This is our report entitled The Local History, Museum, and Cultural Communities in Mindanao. So first, we're going to tackle what is local history. So local history, it refers to the key to understand the different culture and perspective of small area that present the past event or experience. And for additional understanding, it is the interpretative creation of the past of their local that embracing its political, social, economic, and cultural life. These include the development of the institution in the geographic unit and the success and failure of its people. Now, if we are going to national history. So, national history, it regards the nation state as the primary unit of history and collection of data or recording from different local histories, which reflect vivid illustration of the general course of the national history. So, if we're going to compare both local and national history, we're going to identify what is the difference between them. And that is the scope of the event and development cover. Because as what I said, local history often focuses on the history of the particular community or region, including the people, place, and event that had shaped in development. And while national history covers a wider range of event and development that had an impact on the entire country.
Goals of local history is to allow the students to be directly engaged in doing it, in which they will be able to learn on how to analyze the data critically. In doing local history, an eyewitness to the event will have to take note and consider examining it with someone else. And in here, the eyewitness is the primary source of the evidences. In the case of history, various aspects should be manifested, such as the case of Fort Pilar in Zamboanga, where its preservation is backed by historical events. Fort Pilar in Zamboanga was a military defense fortress constructed by the Spanish colonial government in Zamboanga. History says that Father Melchor de Vera, a priest engineer, built the fort in 1635 to protect the city from invaders that include the Moros, the Dutch, and the British.
Local history teaches about community. The wide heritage of previous generations on the areas you live can be traced through general locations and everyday items in your neighborhood. Few people are aware of the history of their local area and its communities. By learning more about the origins of your own town, you may better comprehend the past and perceive the present via local history. We had gone by some of Cotabato City's historical locations during their investigations without ever stopping to think about them. For example, Cotabato City's name derives from the Maguindanao term Cotabato and the Malay-Bruneian phrase Cotabato, which means city of stone. So Kota means city or stronghold and Bato means rock or stone. Cotabato was first settled in 1475 under the rule of Sultan Dipatuan Kudarat. In the 17th century, the area was developed to become the capital of Mindanao. Roads and wharves were built during Sultan Makako's tenure in the 19th century, which contributed the creation of the modern-day province of Cotabato. The people from Zamboanga and the Visayas came here to move and settle because of that kind of growth. The long-established Chinese residents of Cotabato was absorbed into the community through marriages to the local Mindanaos. When the Americans began to control the Philippines at the turn of the 20th century, Cotabato was designated as the province's capital. It served as its capital until 1959 when Cotabato took over. In accordance with Republic Act No. 2364, became a chartered city Now, when a certain Cotabateño passes by and knows the background of his hometown, he essentially promotes what is known as PC Hill. He might sense a connection to the city's earlier histories.
When will the local history became part of the national history? This about things happened locally that are of historical significance to the whole country. An example is what was happened in Cavite Mutiny. Why Cavite Mutiny considered as one of our national history? Cavite Mutiny, January 20, 1872, brief uprising of 200 Filipino soldiers and arsenal workers over local grievances, often portraying it as instigated by the friars with the intention of eliminating priests and lawyers, agitating for reforms wherein sparked the start of the resistance against the authority for Philippine independence in 1898. Cavite Mutiny was considered as national history because scholars believe that the Cavite Mutiny was the beginning of Filipino nationalism that would eventually lead to the Philippine Revolution of 1896. Means the Cavite Mutiny influenced the destiny of the nation and influenced the interests of the whole nations. That's why Cavite Mutiny considered as national history.
The importance of local history in Philippine history. Local history is expectedly closest to the people's heart and consciousness because it reflects their own identity, experiences, and aspirations. It is the interpretative recreation of the past of their locality, embracing its political, social, economic, and cultural life. This includes the development of the institutions in the geographical unit and the successes and failures of its people. Thus, in order to understand and consequently appreciate the Philippine history, one should first know the history of his own locality and its contributions to regional development and overall nation building. One may never achieve a fuller understanding of the Filipinos and the Philippines if he failed to study the history of his own town, city, province, or region. The solution, therefore, to the inadequacy of national history is in its revision and enrichment. And this is a responsibility not so much of the national historian but of the local people. It is the basic obligation of every locality to provide a proper and an adequate account of the historical experience of its own people. If this can be done, this will certainly enrich national history and will correct the impression that Philippine history is mainly the history of Manila and its surrounding area. Far from fostering regionalism, local history will make the people understand and appreciate more their total national experience and heritage as Filipinos.